I can't hear you, but one second. For the welcome everybody to week 37, part 2 of Bhakti Vriksha. So let's begin our class with the prayers to Srila Prabhupada. I offer my respects to His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, who is very dear to Lord Krishna, O spiritual master. I offer my respects to you, your servant of your Guru, Saraswati Goswami. You are kindly preaching the message of Lord Chaitanya and delivering the Western countries. Panchtattva mantra. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shiva Sadi Gauri Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna mantra. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shiva Sadi Gauri Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So welcome everyone. I will do a quick recap of our last class. We were doing the second verse from chapter 9 of Bhagavad Gita. So 9.2, and Krishna is giving very, very confidential, very, very secret knowledge to Arjun. And in this particular verse, we are trying to understand what that knowledge is, why it is so secret, and what is the benefit of attaining that knowledge. Okay, so quick recap. We could just cover 3 points last week. So in the first point, we understood that this knowledge which Krishna is giving is the king of all education. So we are taking in so much of education, different degrees we are doing in school and college, but all that knowledge gets finished when we die. So in our next birth, we have to start from ABCD again. But this knowledge is the king of education because it continues in our next birth also. Whatever we are learning now is continuing in the next birth. Secondly, in this, we learned that this knowledge was actually given only to the kings in earlier days. Why? Because kings were the rulers, and if the king is honest, he would deliver and he will make sure that people in his country become God conscious. So that is why kings were responsible for, distributing this knowledge. That is why Krishna said that this is the king of education. And since also the third point we learned that since this knowledge brings the maximum transformation in our life, you all know, right? All of you sitting here who are attending classes for so many years, so you all must have gone through so much of transformation yourself. You would have seen that how you were earlier very restless or very angry or very irritated or very frustrated in life. But now you have so many of you after chanting, after acquiring this knowledge, so many of you have become so peaceful and calm. And whatever situation you are in, you're always smiling and happy, isn't it? I'm sure many of you would have gone through this transformation. So that is why Krishna says that, this knowledge is the king of education. This education changes our character, and no other knowledge can do this, isn't it? So you remember we learned it in this last class? Anybody remembers all this? Or little you can remember. Okay. So yes, so this knowledge, my dear friends, is the king of all the education. Second thing we learned that this knowledge is topmost secret. Why? Because this knowledge, no other knowledge give you information that you are not this body, you're actually a soul. And when we die, the soul does not die. The soul moves on to another body. And the real dharma of the soul is not to become, trapped in just enjoying material things, but to understand that we can actually permanently become free from life and death and this constant pain and misery. And we can permanently go back to Krishna and live with him eternally forever and become always happy. So this information of soul and body and being happy and living with Krishna is actually very great secret. You will not see on TV, on radio, people talking about this. So this knowledge Krishna has given all in Bhagavad Gita. And that is why he's telling Arjun that this knowledge is topmost knowledge. It is the most secret knowledge. Not every religion, every dharma, or every textbook will tell you about all these things. So that is why it is a great secret. Third thing we learned was that it is the purest knowledge because it removes all our past sins. So as we understand that this is not our first birth, we have taken so many births and we have done so many bad activities. So we, like a bag full of sins we have done. But when we get this knowledge, when we chant, when we attend these classes, all our sins are removed. And not just that, our tendency to, do more sin. Like I gave the example of a thief, that how, he might, you put him in jail, but that doesn't mean when he come out, he will not cheat again. So, but when you're chanting, when you're taking this knowledge, you will not feel like cheating anybody. You will not feel like being bad to anybody because from inside you become pure. So that is why it is the purest of knowledge. It removes our sin and it makes us a pure person. Right? So we had done these 3 points and we also learned the story of Ajamil. Ajamil who fell in love, who was married, who was a Brahmin and who fell in love with a prostitute. And he got many children from her. And one of their children, they named as Narayan. And he became old and he got married and he started committing also many sinful activities. He would steal and he would murder somebody and he would be drinking. So though he was a Brahmin, a very pious person, but after he got married to attracted to a prostitute, he did all sinful things. But at the time of death, when Yamadutas and Vishnudut came, they both were fighting. Yamdut said, we will take and torture his soul. And Vishnudut said, no, no. Just now he chanted name of Narayan. And actually, Ajamil just called out his own child. His youngest son's name was Narayan. So he was not calling God, but he was just calling his son. But Vishnudut, the moment somebody says Krishna's name, Vishnuduts come. Okay, so they came and there was a big fight between I shared a photo also of Vishnudut and Yamdut, and that how they did not let Yamdut take away the soul, and Jamil got a second chance to live, and then he realized his mistake and he started traveling, did all pilgrimages, and he became a very pious person again. And finally, when it's time to leave, the body came. Then he was taken personally by Vishnuduts and he went back to the spiritual world. So what I mean to say is that it removes all our sins. He had become so sinful, but just by chanting Krishna's name, he became purified. And ultimately, he did not have to suffer in hell. He went back to spiritual world. So this is all what we learned in the last class. So let's begin our today's class. And today we will learn next couple of points. Next point we will learn is that this knowledge is beyond the three modes. Anybody remembers what are the three modes? I think we discussed in the last class. The three modes are, Rasariti, can you please type in chat, mode of goodness, passion and ignorance? Just type it in chat. So we learned the three modes, and very quick examples. We will learn that how when somebody acquires this knowledge, that person is beyond the modes, means he goes beyond the three modes. He is neither in passion nor ignorance, nor he is in goodness. He becomes ready, he becomes fit to go back to Krishna. Rasnati, did you hear? Okay, so these are the three modes. And so let's see one example of how one who becomes, who steps out of this mode becomes perfect. So there is a very interesting story I will share. So there was once a king, his name was, I'll just type it in chat, his name was Prachinabari. 1 second, sorry, I'll just type it. So this is the king's name, and he married a princess, and the girl's name also I'm typing. So he married Shatadruti, and both of them together they had 10 children. And these children were called as Prachetas. Okay. So the story goes that these 10 children actually, see, the king and the queen, both of them were very religious. They were very pious. So that means they were in the mode of goodness, right? We understood long time back that in the mode of goodness, people are very pious. They're very kind-hearted. They do good to others. So these king and queen was very good and pious. So their children were also very religious and pious. And once when they grew up, they met Lord Shiva, and Lord Shiva instructed them to meditate about Krishna. All of them followed the instructions of Lord Shiva, and they went to the river and they stood in the water for 10,000 years and recited prayers for Krishna. And this prayer was given by Lord Shiva. So they stood in water for 10,000 years and they started meditating upon Krishna. And at the end of 10,000 years, by severe tapasya that they did, Krishna appeared before them in his very pleasing form and he blessed them. So, point here I'm trying to say that somebody who wants to advance spiritually, who wants to go back to Krishna, just being good and pious and religious is not sufficient. Which means just being in mode of goodness is not enough. You are giving charity, you giving to the hospitals, to opening, to orphanages, or you're doing something for disabled person. Fine, that is all good work. But we have to do something beyond. That is why we say you give food in charity, good. But when you give prasad in charity, then it becomes beyond the mode. Then you have gone one step above mode of goodness also. because you're doing for Krishna. So any activity which you have done for Krishna is above mode of goodness. Okay, so work done for Krishna is above mode of goodness also. So just being religious and pious is not sufficient. We have to work for Krishna. So in that way, we can go back to Krishna. Okay, so second example, we will learn about mode of passion. Mode of passion, the quality is that people are very, very hardworking. They have a lot of desires. They have, how people are working very hard day and night to get more money and more fame and knowledge, whatever. They're working very hard and they have no time to listen about God. So that is the second category of mode of passion. So let's understand a very interesting example in this about Dhruva Maharaj. You know about the story of Dhruva? Anybody knows about Dhruva who they say has become a star? At night you can see the pole star Dhruva. Anybody have you heard about Dhruva? So Dhruva actually was a prince. He was a 5-year-old child, and he was the son of a king. So basically, he was a prince, and he also had a stepmother, and he also had a step brother. Means his father had 2 wives. So, but his father used to love the other wife. Now, not his mother. Dhruva's mother he didn't love, but he loved the other wife. So, he also had a child. He also had a son. So one day they were playing, the children were playing, and this other brother of Dhruva was sitting in the lap of his father. And Dhruva, also being a small child, being just 5-year-old, he also started going up and he also wanted to sit in his father's lap. Now, immediately that stepmother, she got very angry and she pushed away Dhruva. And she said, you can't sit in your father's lap because I have not given birth to you. So if you want to sit in his lap, then you go to Krishna, you pray to him so that in your next birth, you come as my real son, not as my stepson. So this 5-year old boy, he became very, very sad and he started crying and he goes back to his mother, the other queen, and he narrates the whole story. And his mother understood. She said, yes, I know your father loves the other queen. He doesn't love us so much. And this little boy, he doesn't understand. He said, so what should I do, to make him love me? I want to be the king. I don't want the other child to be the king when I grow up. She said, but then your stepmother said, right, you have to go and talk to Krishna. So this 5-year-old boy, he was very angry. He was very upset, and he actually went to the jungle and he started asking all birds and animals, have you seen God? Have you seen God? But nobody answered. And then Narad Muni appeared, and Narad Muni asked him what happened, and he was very angry. And Narad Muni tried to make him understand about God. He said, no, no, I don't want any philosophy. I just want a
Sorry,
king.
Mataji, I would request you to please slow down a little bit.
Okay, sure, sure, sure. Sorry. So Narad Muni said that I will not, I am telling you how to see God. So Dhruva said, no, no, I don't want to understand your philosophy. You please tell me where can I found God? Because I want a kingdom which is bigger than my father also. I want to be the king of this world. I want to rule. I don't want, he was very angry actually. He was very sad and angry, but he was very passionate. He had that dream of becoming the king. So Narad Muni said, okay, I will give you some mantra and you stand here and you meditate. So I'm sure on somewhere down the line, you would have seen some picture of a small boy in the jungle standing on one leg. And, he was praying and he was constantly chanting the mantra for Krishna. And after some years passed by and Krishna appeared and blessed. But the important transformation that happened was when he saw Krishna, all his desire to become king vanished. What he wanted was just simply to serve Krishna. So, just by seeing Krishna, just by getting the blessing of Krishna, Dhruva was no longer passionate about becoming a king. All he wanted was to serve the Lord. So, we are understanding that how somebody who's in mode of passion, who's very passionate, who's very has a lot of desires, when he starts chanting, when he understands this knowledge, he also gets elevated. He also, takes a step up and goes beyond mode of passion. And he is then ready to go back to Krishna. As long as we are in these modes, goodness or passion, we cannot go back to Krishna. So unless we start all the time thinking about Krishna and chanting about Krishna, we cannot go back to Krishna. And in the last example, we will understand about long time back, we understood the story of Haridas Thakur. I don't know if you remember. Haridas Thakur was a disciple of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and he used to chant 3 lakhs times a day. And then people in this village, they become very jealous and they sent a prostitute to, so that when Haridas gets attracted towards her, he will fall down. He will fall down means he will become sinful. He will not remain so pious and religious. But somehow Haridas Thakur kept on delaying. He kept on promising the prostitute, yes, yes, I will fulfill your desire. I will fulfill your desire of having a physical relationship with you. Wait, 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 wait. Like that, he kept on delaying her promise for 2 to 3 days. And every time prostitute, what would happen? She would just stand there and listen to the chanting of Hare Krishna from Haridas. She was standing there waiting for Haridas to look at her. But all that was happening was she was just hearing all the chanting. And just by hearing, she became purified. And on the last day, when Haridas was still not, uh, accepting her, her desire, she wanted to have physical relationship, and she fell down at his feet and started begging for forgiveness. That I have been, there is a conspiracy against you, and people are not liking you; they're jealous of you. So that's why they have sent me to you. Please forgive me. And then she also becomes a sadhu. And Haridas then leaves that house, and he was a sannyasi. So sannyasis will not live at one place for a long time. So he left that place. And in that place, that prostitute, she shaved her head and she wore saffron clothes and she started chanting Hare Krishna. And then she also became a sadhu. So we see that prostitute was in the mode of ignorance. She had no knowledge about God or anything. She was in all bad activities. But just by hearing Krishna's name, she becomes purified. So we see that how mode of goodness we understood about prachetas From ignorance, from passion, we heard about.
Sorry,
Uh,
sorry, Mataji, just I think I missed. So how
yeah.
is this related to ignorance, Mataji?
Yeah,
The
ignorance,
third floor?
because ignorance you see, the quality of ignorance is that you are constantly in darkness. Darkness in the sense you will have no interest towards God and you will do all sinful activities. So prostitute, she was busy in doing all sinful activities. So they have no interest, they don't want to learn about God. But just by hearing from about Krishna, her God, just by hearing the chanting for 3 days, her heart got transformed. So the three modes we saw, goodness, we saw prachetas, they were already good. They were already good people. But when they heard about Krishna, they meditated on Krishna, they took one step higher and they become Krishna conscious. Dhruva was very, very passionate. He wanted a kingdom. He had a lot of desires. But when he saw Krishna, he was not interested in kingdom anymore. He just wanted to serve Krishna. And we saw in the last example of Haridas that how this prostitute, she was doing all sinful work, but just by hearing about Krishna's name, she also became purified and she also became a sannyasi. She also left all that bad work and became Krishna conscious. So the point that we were learning that how this knowledge, and so we'll move back to our topic for today. We are learning about why this is the topmost knowledge. So the next example is that this is beyond the modes. When we learn this knowledge, when we chant, when we attend classes, then the three modes, goodness, passion, ignorance, does not affect us. So is it clear? It takes little time to understand this point, but we'll continue this. Today we've done, maybe after a couple of weeks again we can pick up this topic. So around you, you can see people that how somebody would be in mode of passion. They will be very, very ambitious, hardworking, and they're mad after money. Whereas some people will be lazy and they'll be cheating others and they'll be sinful. So those are in mode of ignorance. And some who are doing very good job, good work, very kind-hearted, but they are not Krishna conscious. So the moment a good-hearted person becomes Krishna conscious, then mode, they're out of the mode. Then they are moving towards Krishna. Okay, so we have covered the next point, that is this knowledge is beyond the three modes. Let's move on to the next point. And that is person becomes self-realized. Self-realized means he becomes perfect and he understands I'm not this body, I'm a soul, and my life will end one day very soon. So I should become Krishna conscious and try to go back to Krishna. So the point is that we become self-realized. So how we learned from Narad Muni's example that last class we anybody remembers that he was a very small boy. He was the son of a servant. His mother was a servant, and they would serve the sadhus. And once, Narad Muni would hear all the lecture of sadhus, and then he would eat from their jhuta khana. And slowly, after some time, when the sadhus left, and eventually his mother died, but then he did so much of uh, tapasya that ultimately Narad Muni became a great devotee. He developed love for Krishna just by hearing from sadhus. So this knowledge, my dear friends, give us self-realization. We are able to understand who we are, who is God, and my duty is to serve God. Right? Is it clear? Is it clear?
Yes, yes, Mother. Yes.
Okay. Next point is this knowledge is perfection of all religion. So there are so many religion, but not all the religion will tell you to love God. All religion will tell you that, if you don't do this, then God will punish you. If you don't do this puja or ritual, then God will become very angry and he will punish you. But we are talking about this religion of this philosophy of Krishna consciousness where all you need to do is serve God and love God. Simple. Again, seeing Narad, we saw that Narad Muni never went to any school and he didn't even study any big Vedas. In the life of Narad Muni, we saw in detail how he was a son of a poor mother, servant. He didn't have any chance to go to school. He didn't have to study big Vedas, but he got attracted towards Krishna. All he did was he just meditated, he started doing tapasya, and finally he became the biggest devotee. So that is why this process of Krishna consciousness, it is so powerful that without performing any, havan or going to temple or fasting or anything, you become God conscious. You start loving God. You start getting attracted, and your life becomes perfect. So the perfection of any religion, my dear friends, is simply to love God. That is the topmost religion. Topmost religion is loving God. And in our next point, we understand that how this knowledge is eternal, it is everlasting. So, time and again in many classes, I've explained that how when we die, this knowledge that we are acquiring now, this knowledge does not get lost. From our next birth, we continue, the same knowledge. But when the material knowledge of school and college knowledge, we need to learn again in the next birth. And by chance, if we don't take birth, we go back to Krishna. Then with Krishna also, we get an opportunity to serve him. Like Mother Yashoda or Radharani or the gopis or Krishna's boyfriends. Everybody is busy serving him in the spiritual world. So the service continues, this knowledge continues, it is everlasting. Whatever you are learning now, even if you are learning very little, even if you're finding it difficult to learn, but even if 1% you are learning, this knowledge, my dear friends, will carry forward eternally with you. In this birth, next birth, and you go back to Krishna, this knowledge will always be with you. It will never get lost. So, this knowledge is so beneficial. And our last point for today is this knowledge is this process of devotional service. And when we get this knowledge, it is very joyfully performed. So I've been asking you to send me your videos of your favorite service. Why did I ask you? Favorite because it gives you happiness, right? Somebody loves to chant. Somebody loves to cook for Krishna. or somebody loves to do some artwork for Krishna, right? So, and in ISKCON, you've seen devotees that how just they'll do nothing, but they'll simply just dance. They'll jump and they'll dance and sing, and they're so happy. So, this knowledge, my dear friends, is very, very joyfully performed. You're very happy when doing this. Like, how many of you like attending this class every Sunday or whenever we are doing it? How many of you become very happy when the class is there?
Yeah, Mataji, we see a few heads, Sumo Mataji, some people saying yes,
Why
yes.
others are not happy in the class?
Some people are saying, no, happy, happy,
Okay. So
happy.
basically, you like attending this class, you like getting this knowledge. So even if you're not doing any seva, even if you're not doing any service, still you're happy. So that is the beauty of this process, which beauty of this knowledge which Krishna is giving in this chapter, that this knowledge is joyfully performed. This seva, this service to Krishna is people become very happy when doing this. Right? So that's all for today. I'll do a quick recap with points and then probably 5 minutes we'll take a break. Okay, so our points are that this knowledge which Krishna is giving in 9.2 of Bhagavad Gita, Krishna is explaining to Arjun that, my dear Arjun, this knowledge I'm giving to you, number one, it is the king of education. It is the topmost secret. It is the purest knowledge. It takes us beyond the three modes. It makes us self-realized. We understand our identity, that we are a soul and we have to serve Krishna. It is a perfection of religion. It is the topmost religion. That is, serving Krishna is the topmost religion. There's no religion bigger than serving Krishna. This service, this knowledge is everlasting, it is eternal. Even in our next body, this knowledge continues. And this knowledge, when we get, we become very joyful and we are able to serve Krishna very, very happily. So that's all for today's class. While Saurav is on 5 minutes break, we will share the pictures. So this, especially this slide where we are talking about the modes, top photo is of their life and how after they acquire, they go beyond the modes, how their life changes. So top like Prachetas and below will be Krishna blessing them. Top will be Dhruva and below that Krishna is blessing Dhruva. And top will be the prostitute and Haridas. Below will be the prostitute becomes a sannyasini. So you can quickly have a look while Saurav is on a break and we'll take some questions. Yes, we can take questions.
Hare Krishna, Namaskar Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Today was very, very nice. But Pracheta Mataji, Prachetas was a little confused, Mataji.
Prachetas.
10, huh? The king's sons, 10 sons,
Yeah,
did they attain salvation, Mataji?
right.
I mean, were they free? Did they go back?
Yeah, I guess definitely.
Someday we would like to have the story of
Yeah, a lot of them. Actually, Pracheta stories is a very big story. I had to, because today I had to convey some other philosophy, right? About the modes. I had to talk about the three modes. So that is why I had to shorten the story.
so yes, Mataji,
Yes,
did they
yes.
attain
Actually,
eternal home?
they were engaged in creating the population. Like they were creating more human beings. They were responsible for creating more humans and more intelligent. They give birth to intelligent people. So they further on got married and to another very pious girl, and from there they created further human. So initially, basically, there was no less people. No, so the pious kings and the pious rishis, they were made to get married, and they would not remain just sannyasis. They had to marry, and they had to create similar good people on earth. But finally, when the duty was over, they went back to Krishna.
Yeah, beautiful, Mataji. What happened to the Sannyasin, Mataji? Haridas Thakur's Sannyasin.
Yeah, she also went back to God. She was a disciple of
Where
Haridas
was
Thakur.
this, Mataji? Where was this?
This was somewhere in West Bengal.
Okay, Mataji. Haven't seen anything about it. That's why I
Yeah,
asked.
Haridas
Hare
Thakur is a
Krishna.
very big disciple of of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. You can take the next question.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
So Mataji, the gunas which we did,
Yes,
how you were saying that you have to apply it to Krishna, basically apply Krishna conscious and Krishna service
correct.
for all the three, for the good way, basically,
Goodness.
and the ignorance, the way of ignorance, but the way of passion. That's
Right.
what the question was, Mataji. So how do we do it? Because without passion, so
Yes, I understood the question, Saurabh.
you did, so
Yes, I've understood. Yes,
I think Hemant had a similar question before also.
before also, yes. I remember. So, yes, I remember. You also remember.
Passion, Mataji. So just to understand, because it is so important
Yeah.
to get a kind of a career.
Yeah. So,
But even if we don't talk about, a career, but passion in itself is important, right? For life, for doing what is required. But how do we, leave and follow?
yeah, so you
Um,
don't have to leave. You just have to twist it. You have to include Krishna. So, what happens? There are two things that happen. When you are chanting, one, your desires will not be too many. When you are very, very sincere in your chanting and your reading, and your focus is on attaining Krishna, then first thing will happen is your desires will reduce. Okay. And then listen, let me complete first. Let me complete first. Now, second thing is Krishna has given you a body and you have to maintain that body. Krishna has also said that you have to do your karma. You can't leave your karma. You can't sit at home or you can't go to the forest and meditate. So Krishna also says that you continue doing your karma, but the result you give it to me. Means you don't wait for the result. You don't work for results. You just work to please me because I have given you this body. I have given you this life. So dedicate everything to me. So time and again, I explain this in class that when people go for work, like you are a student, suppose you're a student, you go out and you study. So you study with the focus that yes, this mind, this intelligence is given by Krishna, and I should use it in Krishna's service. You should try to preach people. You should try to, because you have a good absorption of knowledge. Please wait till I don't ask and again. Let me continue. Okay, so you have to utilize that intelligence in Krishna's service. Then you start working and you get money, right? So when you're going getting a salary, you go out and you earn that money and you use it for Krishna's service.
Sorry, Mataji, I think the problem is, see, for a deaf person to know that you're still speaking, your camera is off, no? So he doesn't know. That's the point.
Yeah, I know I'll put my camera on, but
You
his
understand? He doesn't know you're speaking, and I'm also
yeah,
signing and I'm stopping. So that's when he's signing. So I just wanted to inform this process
yeah.
of interpreting is what makes it a little complex.
Sure, sure. Okay, I'll wait. So let I was just wanting to finish my point. So I thought before he comes back with the next question, I should finish that. So nobody is telling, but there is a limit. So today you have got a new house. Okay, I'm talking about that passion thing. Today you got a new house, but you don't stop there. You want a bigger house. You want a villa. You have a nice four-wheeler car, but you're not satisfied. Now you want to go for a high-end model of the car. Problem is not with getting money and desires, but when they become out of control, there is the problem. That is what is mode of passion. Anything which agitates us, which where when we become jealous and envious of other people, and we are not satisfied with what we have already, but we want more and more and more. That is passion. Nobody's stopping you to get a big name and famous or get money. But what is the threshold? What is the cutoff? How do you stop becoming greedy? That is what is mode of passion. I hope you understand that. To fix your limit. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Hare
Namaste.
Krishna, brother.
Mataji, so examples of goodness.
Yeah.
What can be the examples of goodness?
Somebody who is very pious, who does a lot of charity work, who gives money for uh, opening hospitals and uh, orphanages, or who is very religious, but that religious is not to please Krishna, but to please God, to make serve Krishna, but just to satisfy my desires. I want this, fulfill my desires, so I'm going to God. I'm keeping fast on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, because I want to fulfill my desire. So all that is goodness. You are religious, you are very pious, you're God fearing, but you're not doing for without any motive. You're doing with a desire. You're you're good because of some desire. Because you're very happy, you're rich and happy, so you don't want to inquire about God. Understood? You're very happy in your family life. God has given you everything. That's all I need. I don't need anything else. So those are in mode of goodness. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Name is not there.
Hmm. I'll try to be brief, Matri.
Okay.
Something English, he says.
Okay.
Hmm. Chapter 3, verse 2. My intelligence is bewildered by your equivocal instructions. Therefore, please tell me decisively what is beneficial for me.
Yeah, because Krishna is giving instructions which is confusing Arjuna. What verse? You can tell me
Verse
later
2.
on. Verse
Verse
2,
2.
chapter 3.
Ah,
So
chapter.
I have to read what he said, Krishna said before that. Krishna would have given a lot of instructions to Arjuna, do this, do that. So Arjuna wants more clarity. Let me read. My intelligence is bewildered, means my intelligence, I am confused by your instructions. So tell me clearly. One, two, three, four. Tell me clearly so that it benefits me. It is for my benefit. Bewildered means confused and uh, there's a lot of confusion in the mind. So much knowledge Krishna is giving, Arjun got confused by that knowledge. Hare Krishna.
Equivocal.
Equivocal is, let me see the grammatical meaning. One second. I'll just find out what is equal. Equal. Meanwhile, we can take another question. Equivocal means
Yes.
open to more than one interpretation. Okay. So many meanings to one thing. So one statement which will have many meanings. So not very clear because there's so many meanings to one thing. So he becomes confused. Understood? We'll have just two more hands. We can just finish there. We're anyways above time. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji, and Dandavat Pranam to you. I sent you a video, Mataji. Was it
Yes,
okay?
yes, yes, it was good.
I
You
was doing
deleted
Krishna.
once and then you sent it again, Tulsi. I think Tulsi Puja is what you like. That's your favorite service. I got the video.
Yes,
So
yes.
I'm waiting for more people to send so that I can put them together and then I can put it on YouTube. So people are not sending what to do. I'm still waiting. People are not sending the videos. I'm waiting for everybody to send, at least few more people to send.
Yeah, so please
Thank
send.
you, Vishal.
Especially saying, please send, please send.
Thank you. You are saying that maybe people will send. Okay, last question, Mandeep.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
So Mataji, she's saying she has at home. So at home, Mataji, she has Jagannath idols. She also has Krishna Radha. She has six, a lot of idols, and then she has a Gopal also. But now,
Okay.
like the festival time when she travels outside, so at home they are there, and she's always worried. It's like Krishna's calling. She's like Krishna's
Correct,
hungry.
correct.
He feels hungry, and I worry because there's no one to give food, and the home is locked. Um, 7, I think they were gone out for a week. He came back and then they were looking very sad. And I was also very sad, Mataji. I feel very sad. I feel so emotional. It's like I'm crying. Krishna is hungry. So how do we do that, Mataji? How do
So, what do devotees do is that you put them to rest. Means you,
they are also and she says so she's using an idiom, Mataji. She's like, if you have pets and you leave them at home, how sad they feel.
yeah,
They're
no,
like very.
we can't compare God to pets, but yes, they're like our children. So they are in that stage where we have to treat them as small children. So the idea is that as long as see God is not, shall I translate?
She's saying, I don't have any home. I don't have dogs at home.
Yeah, no, no. Shall I start explaining?
Yes, Mataji, you can.
Okay. So, see, there are two things. One, we have to understand that God is not dependent on our food. God is not hungry. God is accepting our food because He is very merciful, and through that food, we can serve. We can serve Him. So God is the bread giver. He gives supplies food to all of us. So God is not dependent. So first of all, we need to understand that God is not dependent on our food. Whatever He is taking is because we want to serve Him. Because of our love and devotion, Krishna accepts our food. Number two, when you travel, you keep some dry fruits. You keep fruit like apple, which is doesn't get bad very fast. You keep glasses of water or something or some mixture or some namkeens like which will not get. You close the dabba, put tulsi leaf, and you go there and you tell them, Lord, I'm going out. You can rest for some time. I'll come back and take up your service again. So keep some things which are in closed containers, put tulsi leaf, offer it, and close the curtain and tell them to rest till you're back. So many devotees in ISKCON, they do like that. They tell the Lord to rest. You have to tell them to rest. Don't just leave like that. You say, Lord, please rest. I will be back soon and I will come back to the service. Just close the curtain, rest, let them rest, and keep some things which will not get fungus, or which will not get destroyed by food. 1 week, 10 days, like namak para is there, or some mishri, or some dry fruits, or some laddus, anything you can think of. Put them in containers and keep that, and tell them to rest. So I don't think we can. We next class we'll take more question from you. Please join. We'll take more questions. Hare Krishna. Very happy to meet you. I've seen you for the first time. So thank you so much. Waiting for more videos of your favorite service. Maximum limit 2 minutes. People are not sending. Are you not liking me? Are you not liking the classes? It is just a 2 minute video. Please send it. So let's hope people will send this week more videos. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Shri Prabhupada ki jai. Thank you, Saurav. Thank you, everyone. Have a nice Sunday. Hare Krishna.